Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be comparing the Toyota Tacoma Trail Hunter to the Ford Ranger Raptor to see which $60,000 off-road truck is best. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Carl Malone Ford here in Park City for giving me some time with this Ranger Raptor. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide as well. Let's get into it. Now, powering the Trail Hunter is a turbo 2.4 liter 4-cylinder paired to a hybrid and an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy, you can expect to average high teens with this. Power output's 326 horsepower and then 465 pound-feet of torque. Now, powering the Ranger Raptor is a turbo 3-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed. It puts out 405 horsepower and then 430 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy with this is going to be mid-teens. Now, before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention if you're going to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So when it comes to the front ends of both of the trucks, I think they actually both look really cool in their own right. You notice that features are pretty similar. We've got fog lights with both of the trucks, and you got fancy headlights and then chunky lettering with both of them. The Tacoma does have a light bar. Both trucks do have skid plate protection underneath as well. And so, yeah, when it comes to the front end stuff, again, there's some differences, but lots of similarities. Now, the Tacoma has 18-inch wheels, whereas the Ranger has 17-inch wheels. That's a key difference. The Ranger actually has slightly smaller tires. I think these are like 32.7, whereas these are true 33s over with the Tacoma. But I mean, looking at them side by side, there's not that big of a difference. These are narrower. Those are 265, those are 285. So I guess that is another difference. Even though the Tacoma tires don't really look narrower, they are weird, right? Big fender flares with both of them. You can see I-Force Max, and then you've got the cool raised air intake there. But you get some venting here on the Ranger Raptor, so it's always fun. Side steps with the Ranger Raptor, whereas we've got rock rails with the Trail Hunter. And then again, big fender flares in the back with both of them. You can see Raptor right there. Now, suspension's quite different, but also somewhat similar. So live valve Fox shocks with the Raptor, but we do have a multi-link setup in the back. Whereas here, multi-link setup, but we've got Old Man Emu suspension, which is kind of more of a simplistic system, but reliable, durable, which is what Toyota's all about. Now, when it comes to the bed of the Ranger Raptor, it's got protection from the factory. Pretty normal setup here in the bed. Oh, I should mention we got some outlets in the bed, which is nice. You do have to lift the tailgate up yourself, not difficult at all. Really cool taillight design with this, and I like the bumper design as well. Dual exhaust tips here. And just a good looking truck from the rear. Spare tire is mounted underneath, for those of you that are wondering. Tacoma, we've got an air compressor built into the bed here. We also have an outlet. We've got a little chase rack up top as well. Composite bed, which is nice. And then this is actually automatic with the raise function, so kind of fancy. You got this ARB bumper on the back. Recovery points. Spare tire underneath, just like the Ranger Raptor. Yeah, cool looking. Let me know which exterior you like best, but I think both the trucks, they look good in different ways. Now, quickly to show the interior back area. That's a weird way to put it. Soft touch here on the Ranger Raptor. You got these cool seats. They're actually very comfortable. But yeah, being a mid-size pickup truck, not super spacious in the back. And guess what? The Tacoma is more of the same. Different materials, obviously. But yeah, not a ton of space. These seats are cool looking. Not quite as comfortable as the Ranger seats, but they're not uncomfortable. It's just not as comfortable. Anyways, so yeah. And this leads us to the front of the Ranger. So soft touch here at the top and down below. All of our window controls, very kind of plasticky looking. It's one of the things that I wish Ford would kind of up the game on some of their higher end models like this. Anyways, memory seats, blind spot with the mirrors. We've got 5,500 pounds of towing, 1344 for the payload. Raptor there, which is cool. Nice trim down the center. The seats, all of your adjustments on the side. Getting in's easy. Just gonna step up the side step and then pop in. Nice with the closing sound. Push button start. Full digital gauge cluster here with the Ranger Raptor, which is nice. You've got a bunch of different drive modes. The cool thing with the Ranger Raptor, you can also adjust the steering, suspension, and all of that. You also have your custom mode, which is fun, and the exhaust. Paddle shifters here on the back of the steering wheel. It says Raptor there at the bottom. Got the marker there at the top. And then we do have a 360 camera system with this as well. Just another nice feature. Trailer brake controls integrated. And then the screen also has the off-road stuff, so that's just the front camera. It always takes a second for this page to load, which is why I wish this had physical buttons for this. But off-road cruise control, front rear locking differential setup too. And you do have some physical controls for the climate. And then shifter is kind of interesting. Anyways, advanced four-wheel drive system, 2-speed transfer case, all of that. You can see here for the kind of off-road pages there, it's a shortcut button. And then these Raptor seats are nice. Again, they're comfortable. They've got solid bolstering on them. Just nice trim throughout. And I do like the double glove box setup in the Raptor. I think that's practical. Nice trim there on the top. Power setting rear window, which is always a solid feature to have. A bunch of auxiliary switches up top. There's a window sticker, $59K for the MSRP, but it's a Ranger Raptor. Now opening up the Tacoma Trail Hunter. Soft touch here and down below, and you can see Trail Hunter right there. All of our window controls here. See the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. 6,000 pounds towing. Payload is 1215. And then here's the front seat. Pretty cool trim all down the center. All of our adjustments here on the side. And then you've got the auxiliary switches here. We also have for the light bar and for the fog lights. Getting in, no side steps. A little bit harder, but not too difficult. It's not as solid sounding. Interesting. Full digital gauge cluster, just like the Ford. And then the steering wheel, it's nice, but it's not like special for this. This is just the normal fancy Tacoma steering wheel, so you don't really get anything extra. But we do get its extra, the camera. This has such a good camera system. I love Toyota for this. Just really good visibility. And part of that's the big screen that looks like a tablet popped on. The Ranger only had heated seats. This has heated and cooled seats, dual zone climate, heated steering wheel, all of that. Wireless phone charging pad, which is cool. But what this doesn't have is an advanced four-wheel drive system, so just a 2-speed transfer case. So, but you do get multi-terrain select crawl control and all of that. You also have a rear locking differential, so no front like the Ranger Raptor, but this does have a stabilizer bar disconnect that the Ranger Raptor doesn't have. Nice trim here on the center console. I like the Toyota logo there. I think that's pretty cool. And you've got a storage space above the glove box. Camera rear view mirror, so you got that nice tech feature. Power setting rear window. And this thing's 65 grand, so yeah, 6,000 more. Now, with that being said, let's sum things up with this comparison. Okay, folks. Ranger Raptor first, Tacoma Trail Hunter second. I will say one thing that I love about Raptors in general is the steering. Other manufacturers need to go and drive a Raptor and then retune their steering, because the steering doesn't make sense on everything, but it is so nice. So it's got a little bit of weight to it. That's the first part about the steering rack. But on top of having a little bit of weight to it, it's just so direct. It's like, as soon as you get into it, like you could blindfold someone. You blindfold me. You put me in a Raptor, and just turning the wheel, I'll know it's a Raptor. Not even touching the paddle shifters, just turning the steering wheel. And you could even change the grips on the steering wheel. It's funny how it works, but that's just how it works. So, with that being said, the Raptor's definitely jumpy. It's like wanting to just get up and go. You can tell, biting at the chomp, that is for sure. Seats are very comfortable. That's another thing that Ford just does a good job with. Again, other manufacturers should kind of take note how to make seats comfy. And the acceleration, yeah, it's solid. Again, you've got a V6 and a mid-size pickup truck, and a turbo V6 at that. Now the suspension, it's good. Something to note, the Ranger Raptor doesn't have huge tires, so you do get a little bit more busyness from the shocks. You can feel it. It feels like they're almost having to adjust more often to compensate for the smaller tires. Again, prior to this, Raptor was 35-inch or bigger with tires. This is the smallest tire Raptor to ever exist from the factory. So it's just different. It's just different. Yeah, I love the steer. It's so direct. And the suspension on this is super tight. Again, this feels like a sports car. That's how the Raptor drives. It's a pickup truck. It's got a pickup truck bed and all of that, but it drives like a sports car. So It's just, and the engine, it's just different. And the transmission's also quickest in the segment. Again, very sports car-esque is how I would describe this transmission. It's a cool setup. It is definitely a cool setup. So we'll see how this does up this little hill here. Yeah, tons of, I mean, again, 430 pound-feet of torque from a turbo V6. It's great. And it's only having to move 33s. So, yeah, I knew it wouldn't have any issues. I knew it wouldn't have any issues. This is a cool truck. I've said this in the past, I'll say it again. The Ranger Raptor is for those of you that want a capable off-roader, but also like sportiness. Like, you're okay with giving up, and this isn't uncomfortable by any means, but it's not quite as like laid back as other vehicles. So if you're okay with giving up a little bit of laid backness, we'll call it, to have some fun driving dynamics, that's what the Ranger Raptor provides. And it sounds good too. And that's not even, here, we'll open up the valves. Yeah, it's got a fun exhaust tone to it. So I would say the most exciting midsize pickup truck, and extremely capable as well. But let's pop into the Trail Hunter. Tacoma Trail Hunter, back to back with the Ranger Raptor. Let's see how this performs. I will say right off the bat, it doesn't feel quite as on edge. The Ranger Raptor's like, go, 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 go. Sorry, I gotta get a little bit of water in my neck. I mean, my throat's dry. Neck is dry, that's weird. I'll blame it on the elevation. But yeah, this is just a lot, I'll say smoother, because, you know, you've got that electric assist. But yeah, it's not quite as aggressive within the gearing too, right? It's not as aggressive. That's all benefits with the Ranger Raptor off-road, right? Shockingly, this doesn't feel too much. I know this is definitely slower, it's gotta be, but it doesn't feel, from the seat of your pants. Like, I've driven Ranger, Colorado, ZR2 and this today, and the Colorado definitely feels the slowest, but this feels pretty, it definitely doesn't have the top end of the Ranger Raptor, but on the low end, it's so strong. Don't really feel like I'm missing out on too much, surprisingly. Emphasize, surprisingly. Suspension's not quite as, I would say they're just as comfortable, if not maybe even more comfortable than the Ranger Raptor, but this drives more like a truck. The Ranger Raptor is very, again, sports truck-like. It's very sharp-edged. This is a lot more truck-like, a little bit floatier with the suspension. Not like the steering too isn't quite as sharp. So, and the Ranger Raptor kind of feels like a sports truck. This, on the other hand, feels like a normal truck. Doesn't feel, I wouldn't call this sporty. Which, again, some of you might like. You know, you might like the comfort that this provides. And it is nice. It is certainly nice. And a little raised air intake. Yeah, I mean, torque-wise, they feel pretty darn similar. Which, again, the power figures on paper suggest that that makes sense. So I bet, like, high-speed off-roading, the Ranger Raptor is going to just blow this out of the water, but low speed, this might actually do better because it's, the Ranger, right, it's kind of jerky a little bit, whereas this is smoother. So this might actually do better at low speed because of the smooth nature. So to sum things up with this comparison, Trail Hunter versus Ranger Raptor, they're so different. Again, a better comparison would have been Tacoma TRD Pro versus Ranger Raptor, but I don't have access to a Pro right now, just this one. But what I will say is the Ranger's value-wise, it's just it makes more sense, better value, right? 59K versus 65K, and if you look at a TRD Pro Tacoma, you have inferior shocks to the Ranger Raptor at a higher price point, so I think the Ranger Raptor is a better value. But the Tacomas in this Trail Hunter package, this is an overlander. The Ranger Raptors, you could overland with it, but it's more of a weekend toy that you can also daily drive. So just different trucks. Let me know which one you like the best.